Hello and welcome to a Sophisticated Pairs video blog. My name is Erica, and today I am reviewing the Gina from the Sculptress line by Panache. Because I've gained weight, it's ironically afforded me more options in terms of trying different bra styles. And the Sculptress line was previously off limits for me when I was wearing 30s or 32s. Now that I wear a 34 band, I can try a bunch of the different styles. And Gina was one that my sales rep sent me to see how I liked it. So I have been wearing pretty steadily a 34H in Panache. Gina is no different. It fits nice and comfortable on the loosest set of hooks. The cup size is absolutely perfect. I don't have any overflow or gaping. Everything is fully contained on the side and in the front. I'm also filling out the bottom of the cup. I don't have any space between the underwire and my tissue. Because the Gina is from the Sculptress line, the shape of it is slightly different than some of the other styles I've read. Sculptress was designed specifically for the 34, 36 bands plus. So it goes from 34 to 46. It's got a great band size range, but it does mean that because it's designed for a plus size customer, that the overall shape of the bras is slightly wider than what you see with their Clio or their Super Bra line. Now that's not the case in all the styles. Chi-Chi in particular is very much a jasmine option for the Sculptress line itself. But Gina to me feels a little bit more like it's looking for that customer who is slightly wider rooted. So let me explain. For starters, the underwire here at the center is a little bit splayed more. It's not quite as narrow and pulled together as some of the other Panache styles. Now it sits nice and flat, and it's also not overly tall, which is really fantastic. Sometimes I feel like the tendency, particularly if you're designing for bigger bands and bigger cups, is to kind of go crazy with coverage, and all of a sudden it feels like you're wearing a turtleneck instead of a bra. Gina definitely doesn't do that. It's a little bit lower. It doesn't feel like it's a hard tack either, so it doesn't kind of have that same sort of firm press that you sometimes get from Panache bras. It makes it very comfortable to wear. Where you start to see more of the issue for me in particular, because I am very close set, is this side spot. So if you notice, the underwire here on the side is going way too far back. My tissue is ending about here. So I need what's called more of a U-shaped underwire. I need something that's going to be closer together at the center, deeper at the center, and then not so narrow on the side. Gina is kind of the opposite of that for me. It is a little bit splayed more. The cups at the center are moderately deep. I wouldn't say that they're shallow, but they're just more of a moderate. But then the underwires kind of have a swoop. So particularly when you get to the side, they start to come up and back. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's actually really good if you have a lot of side breast tissue that you need to get into the cup. It's perfect for that. But for me, it's just a little bit too wide. What starts to happen is they have this great 4-section cup where we have the side panel, but the side panel is sitting so far here that I don't get quite as much push from the side as I would get if the side panel was sitting about here, which is where it should sit. Now the flip side of that is if you are wider set or wider rooted, then the best part about that side panel is it's going to extend far enough back that it's going to be able to encapsulate that breast tissue, pull it forward, and you're going to get a really fantastic shape. But it's just not going to do anything for people like myself who are more in that close set type. So the other parts of the cup are we have the standard sort of like 4-section design. So I mentioned the side panel. Then we have the lower cup, which has the vertical seam directly between the 2 sections. That gives you your lift from the bottom. And then we have this upper cup here. So the Gina is made almost entirely out of this like little mesh piece. It's kind of like, it feels like it's a 2-ply. The interior is more mesh, the exterior has this pattern on it. And there is this kind of piece of like elastic at the top. I don't know if you're gonna be able to pick it up on the video, but I'll definitely have a picture for the review. This kind of gives it a little bit of flexibility. It's not super stretchy, but it's just enough to, I think, help make the top of the cup contour. So the cup, I would say, is good for more balanced to maybe even bottom heavy fullness. I'm a balanced type, so that means I have roughly equal breast tissue on the top and the bottom of my breast. With the way that this comes in a little bit more sharply, I wonder how it would work on someone who's really full on top. I think it may end up cutting into the tissue. The fabric on this is also lightweight but really secure. One of the critiques that we get sometimes, particularly with Chi-Chi, Jasmine, Envy, a lot of those stretch lace bras, is that because the bras are light and the stretch lace is light and flexible, that customers feel there's a jiggle factor. They feel like if they move too much, then the bras are not like holding the breast tissue in. This is especially true for some of the customers who work in male-dominated fields or even jobs where there's a lot of movement. They don't feel as comfortable in those bras, even if the fit is perfect, just because the containment isn't there. Gina addresses this perfectly. It gives a lot of nice hold, a lot of good containment, but you're not sacrificing the shape. The shape is still really lifted and rounded. It's not pointy, it doesn't force breasts into a weird angle. It kind of gives you the best of both worlds. Now the flip side is, without the stretch lace at the top and with something that's a little bit less flexible, it can create fit issues if you have asymmetry. You may find that one side is going to fit slightly small and you may have a little bit of overflow, or one side may have a little bit of wrinkling. That's just the kind of price you pay when you go with something that's a little bit more rigid for that added containment. So the wings on this bra are not the standard wings I've come to expect from Sculptress. Sculptress usually does kind of that encapsulated wing, like the Candy and the Chi-Chi that I've both reviewed. This one is your more power mesh that you would find kind of in the Super Bra line. I like power mesh. I find it really comfortable. It's very soft, but I do like the encapsulated wings as well. I think those give great smoothing. I guess it's kind of nice to have a mix of both in the line. It has 3 hook and eye closures in the back. The wings on the sides are really wide, so it gives really good support. I feel like it anchors well while also smoothing the back. And I also like that with me, I like having a little bit of width sometimes because I'm on my feet all day, so I think it kind of takes some of the strain off my back. If you're standing upright all day, having that little bit of posture support can really help improve your quality of life. Again, we have the partially felted, fully adjustable Panache strap. So that, as I've mentioned in past videos, can be a little tricky because you have to wiggle the adjuster piece over the felt. The straps on this are also, I think, a little bit kind of in line with Jasmine. This actually reminds me like it could be sort of like a Super Bra frame, maybe not Jasmine because there's no stretch lace, that they've translated to Sculptress. We have that 4-section design, the cup shape, the wing choice, a lot of this has that feeling. And in fact, Chi-Chi was a Jasmine bra that they took and turned into a Sculptress line. So there's a little bit of overlap, I think, in the frames that are used. Overall, the bra is really comfortable. I don't find that it's super east-west on me, which I was kind of shocked because usually when the underwires extend too far back, it tends to make my close-set tissue look the opposite direction. I don't feel like I'm getting that. It is a little bit less projected than I usually wear, but it has a really good profile on it. My only critique is I do feel like because it's so wide that it's starting to pull here. Pull here more than some of the other styles I've tried. I don't know that I would necessarily keep this one for myself, largely because I think that underwire width is it's pulling the cup. And if you're wondering why that happens, it's because my breast tissue stops before the underwire does. So the cup tends to just keep wrapping further around the back, and that takes what should have been sitting maybe here and just kind of stretches it across the side. So that's what's happening with this particular style. That's the only thing about it that really feels uncomfortable. And it's not constant, it's just I notice when I kind of move my arms like this that I feel like it's gonna rub or chafe. So if you're more set like me, if you have like a boob twin like me, then this is probably not gonna be the right bra for you. However, if you find that you're more average set or wider set than I am, and a lot of the styles that I like don't work for you, then Gina is definitely worth checking out. Aesthetically, I love this bra. I don't know why, it's so simple, but it's so pretty. It has like this just kind of like nice little geometric pattern on the full cup. There's nothing really like crazy going on. It's got like a little navy blue bow. I think what I really like is the color. So I have not necessarily developed a neutral addiction, but I've kind of come to appreciate neutrals a little bit more. And this to me is kind of like a grayish purplish color. I think it's called mink. I think it would make a great skin tone alternative for someone who is obviously darker than I am. I think it would blend a little bit better and it wouldn't have that kind of yellow undertone. I feel like a lot of women who have medium or darker skin tones sometimes either get stuck trying to fit into that yellow beige or black. And there's sometimes not very much in between. And I think the mink of this color would be perfect kind of for that in between. It's a bit softer than the black, so even if you are like on the darker side of the spectrum where like a chocolate brown might work better for you, I still think this would work. I think it would get you outside of having to wear that same kind of neutral while also being really pretty. And I think, again, because the color has like less of that sort of like yellowy undertone to it, you have that nice pretty like taupe, like purple kind of combo, that it works across different skin tones. Overall, really great. Very like sophisticated, simple, elegant kind of bra. Comfortable, good basic. I hope they actually turn this into one of the collections, core collections for Sculptress, because it really is a nice style. So if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please feel free to email me at sophisticatedpair@gmail.com. Don't forget to check out our blog, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, and YouTube channel for all the latest news and event information. Thanks for watching!